With a host of gameplay innovations, some controversial, others expected, incredible new weapons, newly concocted realms, and a techno-medieval setting, Doom the Dark Ages is going hard. The best Doom game we've ever made, claim id Software. Well, there's undeniably a ton of promise that Doomslayer's latest war against Hell will deliver by the bucket load. Here are 15 things we can't wait to do once we load up Doom the Dark Ages. Experience the new setting. Doom has been married to heavy metal hellscape since its earliest incarnation, but for Doom the Dark Ages, id Software are throwing a new aesthetic into the mix, and it's a union forged with such perfection that it's a shock to not actually happen sooner. Yes, we're talking about Doom the Dark Ages medieval setting, a concoction of gothic spires and techno demons. A pared down color palette the Dark Ages may be, but for a fresh-faced battleground, it's ideal for Doomslayer's latest war on Hell. Wield the Shield Saw. Most publicized of Doom the Dark Ages' new medieval weaponry is the Shield Saw, a steel-plated slab for Doomslayer to block, parry, and repel his demonic attackers. The Shield Saw underpins the Dark Ages' revamped combat philosophy, which we'll get into in the next point, but most excitedly, the shield is edged by a sawtooth blade to brutally gouge, slice, and chop the meat and metal off the Dark Ages' armor-fused demons. In action, the Shield Saw's flesh-shredding destruction is eye-popping viscera. Get to grips with the Dark Ages combat. Doom 2016 modernized the series' marquee run and gun, or rip and tear as the more primeval description goes. Doom Eternal introduced shooting to platforming and puzzles. Doom the Dark Ages reinvents the wheel again, and arguably it's the most divisive of its innovations. The combat philosophy here is stand and fight, or block and parry, as is likely how Doomslayer will be approaching battling. With sprinting optional, a first for the series, the Dark Ages combat will be stately, more nuanced, demanding different sorts of skills to those Doom players are accustomed. There's a chance this combat change won't resonate, but we're eager to try it out nonetheless. Perfect parrying. Doom the Dark Ages' new focus on parrying will likely be polarizing, with detractors perhaps believing combat mechanics such as these belong in From Software titles only. However, assessing stand and fight suggests combat here harbors a different rhythm, built upon the same fast-paced foundation, but with an eye for deliberate movement rather than freewheeling. Especially true of larger foes, it seems as though Doomslayer must aggressively block, parry, and deflect attacks, simultaneously weaving through projectiles to get up close to his enemies before his fists, shield, or guns take care of the rest. Fire the Reaver Chainshot. Unlike any weapon featured in Doom games prior, the Reaver Chainshot is an iron mace ballistic capable of bone-crunching destruction. As described by id Software game director Hugo Martin, the Reaver Chainshot is, quote, an ancient tool from dimensions beyond our own, end quote, capable of turning the insides of Doomslayer's enemies into demonic pulp. It has a rapid-fire light attack, but the meat of this brutal vessel is its Chaos Sphere, a retractable metal orb which viciously punctures holes in demon flesh. Explore the new Cosmic Realm. The Cosmic Realm is another new, totally unexplored biome for the Dark Ages players to sink their teeth into. A menacing Lovecraftian dimension harboring dark secrets, whilst inhabiting the game's more intense and most intense adversaries. It's an ancient landscape too, constructed of crumbling architecture and shape-shifting portals, all bathed in sickly green and purple glow. Fight the Cosmic Baron. Twin-bladed brute, the Cosmic Baron is one such adversary stalking the Cosmic Realm, and skirmishes with this creature promise to be an abrasive test of determination. Relentlessly attacking, the Cosmic Baron unleashes a swarm of attacks, capable of blocking Doomslayer's projectiles whilst ripping through his precious health. Parry skill becomes paramount. The best way to overcome the Cosmic Baron is to deflect his attacks with precision, then to pray for an opening. Fight the redesigned Kako Demon. Of course, amongst Doom's most iconic enemies, the Kako Demon is returning in Doom the Dark Ages, with its redesigned form more closely resembling the original Spider Mastermind, what with its dangling tentacles and brain-like crown. A Hell vs. Cosmic Realm hybrid will be making an appearance too, a powerful tyrant of telepathic terror, capable of psionic shield attacks and devastating close-range strikes. The Dark Ages Kako Demon doesn't appear to be fodder that it once was. Fly the Mecha Dragon. What is a medieval setting without dragons? And of course, this being Doom, the dragons present in this game, this feudalistic hellhole, are mountable flying gunships, able to spew out fire into the face of cyber demons. Breaking up the standing and fighting are these dragon flying sequences, with hovering demonic motherships the target. Destroying their defenses before boarding and blasting them out of the sky from the inside sounds to be an enveloping gameplay loop, although preview build players do report these sections are a bit repetitive. Hopefully id Software have pushed this innovation as far as it'll go. Pilot the Altan Mech. Alongside dragon-mounted dogfighting, Doom the Dark Ages harbors another novel mechanic, mech battling. The Altan mech is in question here as a skyscraper-sized bruiser, designed to pummel the most massive of Hell's demonic denizens with its fists. The premise is sound enough, sure, but again, preview build players have shared their concerns that these sections are mechanically underbaked. The Altan mech feels too lightweight, they say, hinting that the Dark Ages Colossi fisticuffs are less Godzilla vs. Kong and more akin to the Power Rangers Zords. Experience new glory kills. Actually, this point isn't necessarily something we can't wait to do out of excitement, as if you weren't aware, glory kills, as in the enemy-specific finishers which made you feel like the hardest demon slayer of the underworld, are gone in favor of more generic kicks, punches, and shield smashes. Now, for a shooting game with renewed focus on melee combat, reducing unique execution animations feels like a misstep. However, remember, underpinning the Dark Ages combat is rhythm. id Software believe these more free-form finishers maintain momentum, transitioning from melee strikes to shield swings to executions without any break in the action. Of note, glory kills aren't gone entirely, they're present for games' more substantial enemies. Explore open zone levels. Doing away with the series' linear mission design, Doom the Dark Ages also harbors stretches of open-ended gameplay. These open zones are overseen by a commander who, rather than being a figure to tackle immediately, possess a morale meter which must be whittled down by eliminating underlings dotted throughout. You can confront any of the open zone's individual objectives in whatever order you see fit to, utilizing the Shield Saw's lock-on ability to zip between enemies and environmental cues. Hope the Marauder is less frustrating than Eternal. Some relish the Marauder's challenge in Doom Eternal, whilst others decry the unexpectedly frustrating encounter. It's been a bone of contention either way, so much so that the devs at id Software have addressed it in Doom the Dark Ages pre-release marketing. The equivalent mini-boss dubbed the Agadon Hunter here, equipped with shield and double-ended spear, is a combo-heavy attacker demanding players sequence parries. It'll be a challenge, hopefully not an unfair one. Tweak the difficulty settings. Doom the Dark Ages boasts the most accessible options of any Doom game thus far, with every aspect of the experience tweakable no matter which of the 6 difficulty levels you opt for. There are sliders to adjust parry windows, damage dealt, action speed, and more. Heaps of flexibility is here, opting for a challenging difficulty whilst choosing to soften some of the more granular settings will give the feeling of the ultimate Doomslayer to even the most modestly skilled players. Witness cinematic boss entrances and brutal mid-fight transformations. From what's been shown so far, Doom the Dark Ages appears to be leaning heavily into spectacle when it comes to boss battles. The glimpses we've seen tease grand cinematic entrances, bosses emerging from clouds of war ash, or towering demons flanked by demons. These aren't just enemies, they're events. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.